Everybody, this is Silent Hopper TV, and today I want to talk about what it's like to come back to the United States after being gone for a long time. In the last 3 years, I've probably spent around 45 to 60 days here in the United States. Everything else has been spent over in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, Latin America, the Caribbean. So I've done a lot of traveling, as you guys know. You've seen the videos. But coming back, things have changed, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Let's do it. So the first thing that really stands out is cost of living. So it seemed like back in 2021 or even 2020, if I went to CVS or Walgreens and I got a stick of deodorant, some toothpaste, and a new toothbrush, it was probably going to be under $15. Nowadays, that $5 stick of deodorant, about $10. At least that was the case at the CVS in Mesa for a stick of deodorant, Old Spice. A Gatorade. Yesterday, I went and got a stick of beef jerky, just a regular stick of beef jerky with a Gatorade that usually would have cost under $5, was about $9 yesterday. If I go to the grocery store and I need to get a couple days worth of food, I'm not walking out of there unless I'm spending $100. That's totally different than something in, say, Thailand or Philippines or overseas, anywhere really. It's just not that expensive. I don't know why the cost of living is so expensive in the US, but it is very expensive. Let's talk about the food. So the food quality does not seem very good. Whether I was in Singapore, Europe, Thailand, the food seems real. The difference between a piece of chicken here in the US versus a piece of chicken in, say, Thailand, when you eat a piece of chicken in Thailand or even the Caribbean or Latin America, it's stringy and it has bones. Here in the US, when you eat chicken, it's chunky and it's not stringy. Another thing that stands out, sugar. Everything has high abundance of sugar. I've seen a lot of sugar in Mexico and some of the Latin American countries, but even then, here in the US, everything has sugar, whether it's the bacon, the meat, they even put sugar on that. Lots of salt as well, but it seems like there's just way too much sugar. Also, the portion sizes they're just ginormous. They're huge. I mean, you're not gonna see that kind of portion size in Singapore or anywhere in Asia. I don't know what it is about those large portions, and it's mostly fake food. So it's like they're giving you a lot of food, but it's not dense in nutrients and it's not real food. It's definitely looking fake. I just ate some French toast for breakfast this morning. I'm like, why did they put so much sugar on this? Like, you can feel the sugar crystals as you're crunching down on the French toast. French toast is supposed to be mostly like egg and a little bit sweet because of the syrup, but it doesn't need to have sugar on the actual toast. You know what I'm saying? The food, the meat, it just doesn't seem very real. It seems fake. So I don't really like that. I like real food. I like high quality food. I went to Kyoto Japanese restaurant because I eat a lot of Japanese and Korean barbecue when I'm overseas. So I tried it here, and they just like basically lathered the meat in some marinade. And it wasn't like what you would find in, say, Japan or Korea. It was just like lathered in a marinade and a sauce that didn't even taste very good. Now let's talk about the driving. So I do lots of driving here, whereas in other countries I wasn't doing so much driving. Things are more spread out here, but I do a lot of walking in other countries, whereas here I won't do a lot of walking. I also won't do much public transport here. Now, the benefit of driving is convenience, but also it has this calming effect. Being in your own car, being able to drive pretty much anywhere, just driving around, the streets are very well made, maintained, and I feel like it has a calming effect, and I kind of like it. I do believe in walking, and I do believe in public transportation, but I must say, I've enjoyed driving since I've been back. So that's something that I would say is a really good thing, at least here in Phoenix. Now, as far as homes go or real estate, at least out here in Arizona, for sure, you get more space. You get less population density, and so things are more spread out. As you can see, I'm just walking around. Nobody's here. It's very empty, and that's a good thing if you're someone who has high anxiety or you don't like big crowds, because out here it's a city of 5 million people, but it's not very crowded. Whether I'm in downtown Tempe, downtown Scottsdale, downtown Phoenix, or any of the big cities really in their downtown areas, they're not very crowded compared to other places. So that could be actually something that's positive, but the homes are just so much bigger. You know, you get a bigger backyard. Everyone in Phoenix, I would say at least 60% of the people have a pool in their backyard, but most people have access to a pool anytime they would want to use one. And I think most big cities in America have that kind of convenience. So we do have a lot of parks. We have just more abundance for home lifestyle living that you don't quite see in other countries. Let's talk about the people. So from my experience, at least here in Phoenix and in other places, I was in San Francisco for one day, people are friendly, especially here in Phoenix and Scottsdale, the areas that I've been. I mean, you'll just be walking down the road, people will smile at you, they'll say hi to you. They have no need to say hi to a complete stranger. You just be walking down the road and they'll be like, hi, how's it going? Hey, how are you? Very, very friendly people, especially the older people. The one thing that was a bit surprising was the young people. So my interactions with older people have been really positive, very uplifting. The younger people seem very standoffish. And at first I was trying to figure out if it was just this one kid, but then it was another kid who was like that. And I was thinking maybe a lot of the youth are on the spectrum, the Asperger's thing. I don't know if that's the fact. I don't know if whatever the schedule was for their, inoculations, whatever they had to do, if that has caused it, or if it's just society is very cruel to them and they're like dogs that have been kicked too much. But a lot of the young people are very anxious, even working at the counters. They're not laid back, they're not easygoing. That's been my observation. They're very timid to open up, to be even friendly. Like they basically are kind of like zoned out, which made me think maybe it's Asperger's, maybe it's the spectrum. I don't really know too much about it, but I do know that if someone's joking around with somebody, usually they joke around, they share a laugh. That's what is really important in life, right? Sharing a laugh with someone, sharing a smile, especially if it's just all lighthearted, right? It's nothing serious. But they're very serious and they don't know how to actually be themselves. They feel like they need to be, they're a bit cagey. And I'm mostly referring to people under 30, but in particular under 25. Let's talk about the poverty, something that stood out before I left. I remember thinking, wow, there was a lot of poverty. Now here in Phoenix, I haven't seen hardly any poverty. I haven't seen any drug addicts on the street. I've been to downtown, I've been to Tempe, I've been to Scottsdale, I've been all around Phoenix, and I haven't seen as much poverty or as much homelessness as I saw previously. Usually Phoenix, because it is not a cold winter place that doesn't snow in Phoenix, gets a little bit frosty, but still it does tend to attract homeless people in the winter months, and then they'll go to some other place because it's too hot to be here. But really, I haven't noticed as much poverty or homelessness or drug addict behavior around this area of Phoenix like I did in years past. Another big thing that really stands out is climate and the environment. You can see this is a very blue sky behind me. I didn't see a blue sky anywhere in Asia. I rarely see blue skies in Europe even. Sure, you will see them in places like France or in the countryside, but out here you can see stars at night. It's a very blue sky, open sky. They call it big sky in Montana, and that's a good feeling to see the clear air, which is something you don't see much in Asia. Other places you may see it, but I found that to be something that stood out. As far as climate change goes, I would say it does have an effect everywhere. The climates are changing. We don't know what's causing that, but we do know that in Phoenix, we used to get more monsoons previously. We're getting less monsoons, less rain. Whatever's causing that difference, we don't know, but it's happening. Well, let's talk about safety. So this is an important subject. So yesterday I was driving down the road and I was on Rural Road in Phoenix. There was a man aggressively walking down the road. I don't know what he was on or whatever, but he was in the middle of a busy road, basically tempting people to hit him. And as you drive by, you start to think like, is he gonna try and open my car door? Because you don't want to hit him, so you slow down as you walk by him and he just kind of stares at you and sees what you're gonna do. But as far as safety goes, having been to many countries, I'm not gonna say that all countries are safe, but there's definitely some very dangerous people in the United States. And there's definitely some very dangerous neighborhoods in the United States where those dangerous people are. People always ask me, where's the most dangerous place you've ever been? And I think, well, Rio, some places in Mexico. But then it always defaults in my mind and I'm like, well, if I really think about it, I was most scared in Jamaica, Queens, New York, and Compton, Los Angeles. In both of those places, I felt like there was predators who were stalking me as if I was prey. So, still to this day, you have to be aware of that. But if you're in a place like a suburb, it's about as peaceful as any place. It's about as safe as any place you'll ever see. But we have some really dangerous neighborhoods in the United States. And if you end up in the wrong side of town accidentally, you will feel it. And my final opinion is that America is still a very great place to live. There's lots of economic opportunities here. I would say that I've never seen so much economic prosperity in a country for everyone. Yes, sure, there is some poverty here, but overall, America is still a very prosperous place where people can achieve their dreams and goals. Some people get carried away and may become more gluttonous or greedy because of that, but overall, it's a very prosperous place, and America is really in a good position overall as I went around the country. So I wanted to say that and end on a positive note. See you guys on the next one. And you can watch our 100 best places to visit in the United States video next by clicking right here.